Torah tells us how we were created. So it must be relevant. It must be necessary or useful to know how we were created, which is why we're told. So what are we told? We are told that man was created from dust, and the woman was created from the man. Or in simple terms, the man was created out of nothing, and the woman was created out of a living human being. It seems like that makes a huge difference. Because your origins, where you come from, has a huge influence on your personality, your psyche. So, getting right to the point, the male psyche has a memory of having been nothing.
Before I continue with my monologue, where I do all the talking, I want to invite you to a VIP session, a Zoom session, in which we get together to actually have a conversation and discuss all things Jewish, all things holy, all things healthy. So click on the link below and join us, where we can have a two-way conversation.
Which a woman's psyche does not have. And that's why men have a legitimate, healthy fear of turning out to be nothing. So if a man is treated like he's nothing, he could actually become a nothing. And anytime anything suggests or reminds him of that nothingness, he panics. His survival is at stake. Of course, his mental, psychic survival. And that's why men have a very fragile ego. Because it doesn't take much to make them feel like nothing. Because they suspect that they might be nothing, even without your help. Everybody knows the story about the man who came to Hillel and said, "Teach me the whole Torah while I stand on one foot." And Hillel said to him, "What is hateful to you, do not do to others." Now let me tell you the rest of that story. Hillel was not giving him a vague, open-ended message that needs to be interpreted. What is hateful to you, don't do to others. You hate chocolate? Don't let anybody eat chocolate. Not what it means. In Hebrew, when it says, what is hateful, it's not a question. It's a description. That thing, you know what I'm talking about, that thing that you hate, don't do it to others. What is that thing? The thing that everyone hates is to be reminded that you're nothing. It's a male thing. Women don't have that. Because in a woman's psyche, there is no zero. You're either a 1 or you're a 10. But there's no zero. So although nobody wants to be a 1, but if you treat a woman like she's nothing, it simply doesn't compute. You treat a man like he's nothing, you can convince him. That's why if you treat a woman like she's nothing, she's puzzled. Like, what in the world's going on? You're treating me like I'm nothing? That doesn't compute. I'm not nothing. With a man, I always suspected I might be nothing, and now you're confirming it, and what am I going to do? If you're nothing, you're nothing. But it's a horrible feeling that you'll never understand. Being a zero is total annihilation. It's not an insult. I mean, it's much more than an insult. It's total annihilation. When you put down a man, you're destroying him. That's why men are so sensitive to criticism. Because every criticism reminds them of the ultimate criticism. So you say to a guy, you know, you're not so tall. So, okay, here goes. I know where this is leading. You start with not so tall, not so smart, not so important, not so necessary. You mean I'm nothing. I hate that. So no, I just said you weren't tall. So that's why men can't tolerate any criticism. See, this suspicion that men live with haunts them. It's not a conscious thought, but it's always there. That's called haunted. Men are haunted by this fear. It's a demon or a monster in their closet. And we spend a lot of time and a lot of energy keeping that closet closed. So it's very common that men will overcompensate to keep that door closed. So the whole macho thing and the whole bravado thing, it's basically to hide the fact that we're not less than you think we are, but that we're actually nothing at all. The funny thing is, no matter how many times women will tell men that they're not nothing, it doesn't make a dent. Because you can't undo a created condition. See, that's why men have this thing. We have this obsession, this fascination with anything that goes from 0 to 60. Or 0 to 30. 20? As long as it goes from 0 to something, that's for us. So a boy comes home from school and says, everybody hates me and everybody's picking on me. That's very different than if your daughter comes home and says, nobody loves me. Because when your daughter comes home and says, nobody loves me, she's like wondering how come. When your son comes home and says, nobody loves me, he knows why. And there's nothing he can do about it. The proof that all of this is true, if you need any proof, is not only how sensitive men are to criticism, but how positively men respond to compliments. It's totally disproportionate. You give a man a compliment, you've made his year. Even though it's not much of a compliment. So just as an example, if a wife says to her husband, "Did you change the light bulb? I didn't know you could change a light bulb." Every husband will say, "Oh, stop it, anybody can change a light bulb." But you've made his day. He goes off to work feeling like $1,000,000. But then he tries to return the favor. And the next morning he says to his wife, "You made these eggs? I didn't know you knew how to make eggs." What would your reaction be? You wouldn't feel like $1,000,000 for the rest of the day. You'd think, "My God, what did I marry?" You would say to him, "You have fever or something? Are you feeling well?" And then you won't make him eggs the next day. So why is that? Because turning in a light bulb is better than nothing. Being able to make eggs, that's not a 10. What is the worst thing you can say to a husband? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. If he's turning in the light bulb and you say, "It's okay, I can do that." It's like, "Oh, so you don't need me to turn in the light bulb. And you don't need me to..." You don't need me, do you? I'm totally useless. And to make matters worse, this has been our predicament for 5,700 years. In the last 70 years, you've made it so much worse because you really don't need us. Feminism has completely destroyed whatever hope we had left. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there is a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it.